Day celebration. We will begin tonight's event with an introduction from the U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of Kosovo, Philip Kosnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Allison and I thank all of you for joining us to mark the long-awaited dedication of our new embassy. We are all eager to hear from our guests, so I will be brief. President Thaci, Speaker Veseli, Prime Minister Haradinaj, Mayor Ahmeti, honored guests. The presence here of so many esteemed officials from Kosovo is a reflection of our close partnership and the vibrancy of Kosovo's democracy. And we would not be standing on this site without the support of our hosts at both the national and municipal levels. It is a special honor to welcome House Foreign Affairs Chairman Eliot Engel, Mrs. Patricia Engel, Nobody has done more to build that close partnership between the United States and Kosovo than Chairman Engel, including through support of this embassy. And I'm delighted that Director Tad Davis of the State Department's Bureau of Overseas Building Operations is here with us tonight, and he has made the trip to represent Secretary of State Pompeo and to help us open this environmentally advanced, efficient, beautiful embassy that his bureau designed and constructed. Now, when I say that the State Department built this embassy, that's only part of the story. With us this evening are some of the private sector construction workers, engineers, managers, and students from both the United States and Kosovo whose tireless efforts made this dream into reality. They deserve a round of applause as well. Now, we are still putting the finishing touches on the interior of the embassy, so it will be early autumn before we actually move in and open for business. Then it will become a world-class workplace for American and local employees working together and for the I will use my command voice. It will become a world-class workplace for American and local employees from the many U.S. agencies in Pristina, operating under one roof for the first time. But an embassy is more than just an office building, and it isn't only the people who work here who will benefit from it. Our enhanced, expanded consular section will protect and serve American residents and travelers, and provide service to facilitate travel for Kosovo business people, students, and visitors. And we will have the space and the facilities to make this embassy a gathering place where statesmen, scholars, artists, and entrepreneurs from all of Kosovo's communities can come together. And finally, this embassy is a physical manifestation of America's commitment to an enduring partnership with the Republic of Kosovo. As you continue on your journey to bring peace, justice, and prosperity to all the people of Kosovo, the United States will be with you every step of the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to introduce Chairman Eliot Engel.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It's just an honor and a pleasure to be here. Back in 1996, I was right in this town, right in this city, to help open the United States Information Office. I was with my good friend Harry Barakhtari, who was the one who first introduced me to the wonderful land of Kosovo. And I said then, when we cut the ribbon, that this may be a U.S. information office, but I regard it as the first embassy of the people of the United States. And when I said one day there would be a Republic of Kosovo, and this would be the first embassy. Well, here we are. We have that date from 1996 to today. And here we are on July 4th, which is a wonderful holiday for Americans. We're opening our embassy. So you see, Harry, dreams do come true. And the close ties and the love and the feeling between the people of Kosovo and the people of the United States continues and remains. When we were driving here, we saw American flags all over this town, just like it was on February 17th, 2008, the day of Independence Day for the people of Kosovo. So it's just really great to be here. It's great to be the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, but it's even more great today to be a friend of Kosovo. The people of Kosovo have worked hard, deserve their own country, deserve the respect, and there is no country that works more closely with Kosovo than the United States of America. And here in this beautiful embassy, when people want to travel abroad, they no longer will have to go to another country to get their visa. They can do it right here. So today is like a dream come true. And sometimes if you work hard and you wish and you keep at it, good things do happen. So thanks for being with me in 1996, Harry. Thanks for being with the people of America, all my Kosovo friends. And together in this embassy and outside, the United States will always stand by Kosovo, because Kosovo is part of what we are in the United States. So thank you, and God bless America. God bless Kosovo. Thank you.
Next, the Director of Overseas Building Operations, Mr. Tad Davis.
It's a great day to be here in Kosovo for this special celebration on America's Day of Independence. I bring each and every one of you greetings from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the entire State Department team back in Washington. It's an exciting day to join Chairman Engel from the U.S. House of Representatives and to thank him personally in this forum for his superb leadership and his support of the Department of the State, not only here in Pristina, but also at other posts around the world. So, sir, thank you so much for your continued support and leadership. We appreciate that very much. I'd also like to thank our superb ambassador here, Phil Kosnet, for his support in getting us to where we are today through his leadership and the great work of his team here on site. Mr. President, we're delighted that you could be with us here today. It's an honor and a privilege for me to join you and the mayor here as well. And as I mentioned to the mayor earlier, I spent some time as a city manager on a couple of occasions, so I have a very full appreciation for what it means to be in municipal government, and so we thank you so much. As Director of the State Department's Bureau of Overseas Buildings Operations, I'm honored to be here as we celebrate this new and extraordinary U.S. Embassy in Pristina. It's a great point of pride for me to direct an organization that provides a resilient, leading-edge platform for U.S. diplomacy around the world. Here in Pristina, we have built an extremely modern campus that visibly represents the United States of America, who we are, what we stand for, but more importantly, it represents our enduring commitment to the people of Kosovo. To achieve this effort, we began with a vision for a new embassy that would benefit visitors, improve collaboration and effectiveness in carrying out our important work together, incorporating our building security and resiliency requirements while conveying our values of openness and transparency, while being in harmony with the local environment. The architectural and engineering teams of Davis Brody Bond of New York City developed a design from that vision that represents innovation, environmental resiliency, and a thoughtful consideration for the all-important visitor experience. The construction company of BL Harbor International from Birmingham, Alabama, and their teams, which included Page from Washington, D.C., translated that design into the reality that you witness here before you today. And through this project, provided job opportunities for nearly 1,800 workers, many of whom were citizens right here from Kosovo and the town of Pristina. To promote cross-cultural dialogue and a mutual understanding, our Art and Embassies team curated a permanent collection that encompasses 25 works of art in a variety of media: paint, clay, glass, steel, wood, and photography created by artists from both the United States and Kosovo. And I do hope that at some point in time you'll be able to witness the artwork here in the embassy. I'm also particularly proud of the new embassy's environmentally friendly features, which pursue rigorous resiliency, energy savings, and sustainability goals that aim to reduce environmental impact while optimizing building performance we believe will enhance the overall self-sufficiency of the campus. This new campus is also on target to receive the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Gold certification. This is a globally recognized mark of achievement in high-performance, best-in-class green buildings, as outlined by the U.S. Green Building Council. Further, the Embassy's Sustainable Campus represents our commitment to not only an eco-friendly workplace, but also an eco-friendly lifestyle. I would also like to acknowledge the superb support we have received from both the government of Kosovo and from the city of Pristina, which provided vital assistance to ensure the success of this project. And again, hearkening back to my municipal government days, I know precisely what the mayor and his team had to go through with this project, and for that we are eternally grateful for your support. I would also like to put in a plug for the mayor, because he and I both had an opportunity to attend the Kennedy School of Government there in Cambridge. I think I did it a couple years before him, but anyway, it was great to catch up with him on some of our shared experiences there. The OBO facilities and construction management teams here in Pristina have been working for many years to ensure this project would be completed with the highest standards for security, resiliency, and stewardship, and I would like to thank them, those local employed staff members and others right here. If you could join me in a big round of applause for them, that would be wonderful. I had a chance to meet with our local employed staff earlier this afternoon, and I can tell you they're first class, a group of individuals dedicated to the mission here, and we could simply not get by day in and day out without their tremendous talent and with their support. And finally, I'd like to thank Phil Costa, our ambassador here, and the entire embassy community for their tremendous support and patience. And I highlight the word patience with a capital P, because anytime you're in a very, very old facility like they are right now and are looking, down the street at a new facility like this, waiting to get inside and start operating, we want to get them in here as quickly as we can. And Phil, that's my commitment to you and to the team here, to do that as quickly as we can, but to standard. And finally, once again, it's truly an honor to join all of you here on behalf of Secretary Pompeo for this historic dedication here in Kosovo on a very important day for each and every one of us back in America. And may it serve as a platform to further enhance and strengthen the cooperation between the United States of America and the Republic of Kosovo. Thank you so much.
Next, a few remarks from Mayor Pristina, SHBA-ve. At this time, the waiters will begin handing out drinks. Please hold your glass until the toast at the end.
Chairman Engel, Mrs. Engel, Mr. Davis, Ambassador Kosnet, Mr. President, Speaker, Prime Minister, American and Kosovo friends and colleagues, it's with great pleasure that I stand here today to cut the ribbon to this actually most sustainable building in the Republic of Kosovo today. I was happy to have the first meeting with the architects when they came to the municipality of Pristina and presented almost the full building because of security reasons. And I am happy to be here throughout this period of building this, and to tell you the truth, I am very honored to be mayor today, to actually be the one who cuts the ribbon with all of you to this amazing building. A couple of months ago, I was given a tour of the building by calling here, and I can really tell you that this building says Kosovo-US friendship. As I said, it's the most sustainable building. It includes pieces of art. It is transparent, and as I said, it uses little water and little energy from the city because it recycles almost everything, and it provides a great environment for everyone who's going to work and visit here. So, Mr. Davis, when you say it's a difficult task to be city manager, Actually, this is one of the buildings that I was happiest to give the permit to. And to tell you the truth, it's definitely the easiest of clients that we've had here in Kosovo, because you didn't ask for much, and actually you gave us this wonderful and beautiful building. I worked for the US office in the year 2000, where we were only a small number of houses there in Dragodan, and now I'm mayor. I want you to see you out of those houses as soon as possible, because the embassy became too big for that place. So it will release some of the streets for us, but as I said, it will give this area a new look, and definitely we will have new development because of the embassy. And at the end, I just want to say that, as I said, the biggest single project that we've had in Pristina is a wonderful message to be sent to all of us, that the US-Kosovo friendship is here to stay, that Kosovo is one of the main friends and partners of the United States, regardless of how small we are compared to the United States. As I said, we've received support always from Democrats and Republicans, from Clinton to Bush, from Obama to Trump, from congressmen on both sides of the aisle, and also from senators on both sides of the aisle. So regardless who was in power, both in US and in Kosovo, one message was clear. Kosovo and the United States are going to be, have been going to be friends for a very, very long time. At the end, there is also a new consular section, which also gives me great joy, because people don't have to go to Skopje for consular services. So really, it's a great pleasure, and I congratulate you for this wonderful piece of building and art that you've put in Pristina. Thank you.
Now I invite our speakers to join President Thaçi at the podium for a toast.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear Congressman Engel, Ambassador Koznet, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor, Speaker of Parliament, Prime Minister. Now I invite you all to raise a toast to celebrate the inauguration of the new building of the Embassy of the United States of America. This building is another testimony of the great and timeless friendship between our two countries. Cheers, and God bless the United States of America and Kosovo. Cheers. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. Directly behind you at the flagpole, the Marines will now raise the colors. This concludes the dedication ceremony. You are now invited to take the stairs to my right, your left, to join our other guests at the Independence Day celebration.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the 243rd United States Independence Day celebration. Please rise and clear the pathway in front of the podium and to your right for the parading of the flag. Please remain standing for the Kosovo and the United States national anthems.
Book.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ambassador Philip Cosmic.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of myself, my wife Allison Cosnet, and the entire American Embassy community, I am delighted to welcome you all to this celebration of the 243rd anniversary of America's independence. I can think of no better way to spend our birthday than among some of America's closest friends, the people of the Republic of Kosovo. It is an honor to be joined on stage by President Hashim Thaçi and by one of Kosovo's greatest supporters, Mr. Elliot Engel, Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs. Here tonight as well is Mr. Tab Davis, Director of the State Department Bureau of Overseas Building Operations, who spoke on behalf of Secretary Pompeo earlier this evening when we dedicated this remarkable new embassy. This embassy, designed and built by Americans and Kosovars working together in concert, is more than just an office building. It is a symbol of America's commitment to an enduring partnership with Kosovo. We also welcome members of the Kosovar American community who do so much to strengthen the relations between our two countries. And our Kosovar guests include 1,000 men and women active in many fields, representing all of Kosovo's communities and reflecting the vitality and diversity of today's Kosovo. Since Allison and I arrived here last year, I've often been asked what has changed in Kosovo since my first assignment in Pristina 15 years ago. How do I respond? By pointing to the rising generation of talented, energetic Kosovars who could succeed anywhere in the world, but have chosen to build their futures here in Kosovo. Entrepreneurs like Zorica and Isak Wargucic, the owners of Pivjan Brewery, and tech pioneers like Murdim Sahane, the visionary leader of Giraffa, who started a revolution in local e-commerce. Defenders of justice like Bekim Blakaj, the executive director of Humanitarian Law Center Kosovo, a powerful advocate for victims of war crimes. Journalists like Tatiana Lazarevic of Kosov, standing up for truthful journalism in the face of intense pressure. Advocates for women like Elvira Dushku of the Kosovo Basketball Federation, whose work to involve more girls in sports has taught hundreds of girls teamwork and leadership skills. And artists like Leitrim Fishekcu, who is bringing cutting-edge art to Kosovo, cutting-edge contemporary art, and supporting youth through his exciting new festival, the Autostrada Biennale. So this evening's event, ladies and gentlemen, is not only a celebration of America, it is also a celebration of the ability and confidence of today's Kosovo. In addition to American fast food favorites from Kosovo franchises, we will be serving organic, locally sourced food prepared by restaurants owned by 2 talented Kosovo women. The wines, craft beers, and juices are all produced in Kosovo, some by minority businesses. And the music comes courtesy of 2 terrific bands, String String and Gypsy Groove, reflecting the vibrancy of the local music scene. So let's take a moment to thank the chefs and musicians, in addition to all of the embassy staff, contractors, and sponsors whose hard work and generosity have made this evening possible. Ladies and gentlemen, as Kosovo enters its 2nd decade of independence, of course it faces challenges. As in any country, I hear Kosovars express concern about the future. But tonight, I encourage you to take pride in the progress that you have made, overcoming a legacy of privation and conflict to begin the hard work of building a new nation. Now, Kosovo is not the first country to emerge from a turbulent birth. The first decade after America's Declaration of Independence in 1776, the act we celebrate tonight, was a perilous one. Our new nation was under threat. The 13 new states often disagreed with one another about the path ahead. Only in our 2nd decade, with the creation of our Constitution and a commitment to national unity, did the United States begin to find its way. And even today, we continue the struggle to build what our founders called a more perfect union. Citizens of Kosovo, Americans don't stop striving for a better future, and neither should you. I have full faith in the ability of the leaders and citizens of Kosovo, of this great country, to continue to progress, to unleash the energy of your private sector, to fight corruption and strengthen the rule of law, to build trust among communities, and to find a way back to the negotiating table with Serbia to build a lasting peace. Most of all, I have faith that you will not take for granted the democracy for which so many have struggled. To every citizen of Kosovo, I say, every voice matters. Lift your voice high. I will close with the words of a great American civil rights defender, Bryan Stevenson. You don't change the world with the ideas in your head. You do it with the conviction in your heart.
Next, it is a pleasure to introduce Chairman Elliot Engel.
It's so good to be in Kosovo. It's so good to be in Kosovo on American Independence Day. It's so good to be with America's best friend in the world. And I just love this country and love the people of Kosovo. Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Ambassador, and other honored guests, it's a tremendous honor to be with you tonight. This isn't the first July 4th I've spent in Kosovo. I've been here a number of times on July 4th, and it's always very special. It has a unique meaning for all Americans, and it's a unique and humbling experience for me to be able to share my thoughts right here in Pristina on this auspicious occasion. Standing in front of this beautiful symbol of America's permanence in the Balkans, it's hard to remember that only 243 years ago, the United States had only just declared itself a nation. We were 13 colonies then, struggling to come together in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds and in pursuit of a higher cause. What other country does that remind you of? Men and women from all walks of life did their part in this struggle under the leadership of great Americans whose names we all remember. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. And on July 4th, we commemorate the signing of a Declaration of Independence, the historic and symbolic establishment of the United States of America. Jefferson's Declaration of Independence, signed on this day, made the case to the world for America's freedom from Great Britain. His words laid out the grievances of the then 13 American colonies against England's King George and told the nations of the world that we could suffer them no longer. Friends, I have a copy of the United States Declaration of Independence on the wall of my office in Washington, D.C. There is only one other country in the world whose Declaration of Independence I have on my office in Washington, D.C., and that's the Kosovo Declaration of Independence. So I know that some of the signers of that historic charter for the independence of Kosovo are here today. They are the real heroes of Kosovo. When I read those documents, I cannot help but notice how our independence declarations both emerge from a series of events which are not dissimilar. Thomas Jefferson wrote, and I'm quoting him, "When a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferances of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government." Those words still ring in the ears of Americans who still learn from a young age about our nation's struggle for independence. And it's not just Americans. For the last 2.5 centuries, those words have been a guide for freedom and democracy around the world. And I imagine they also speak to the people of Kosovo. They speak to what happened to you. People of Kosovo endured great suffering at the hands of the Milosevic dictatorship. You experienced incredible hardship and a long train of abuses. And after the ethnic cleansing began, you exercised the ultimate Jeffersonian right of a society, to throw off the shackles of bondage and govern yourselves. And that's what you're doing, and congratulations to you. Although more than 200 years separate our declarations of independence, our peoples, the American people and the Kosovars, will always be connected forever by the similarities of our experiences and the justness of our journeys. But those journeys are not over. We are still called, as the United States Constitution says, to form a more perfect union. And we've come so far and celebrated so much and achieved so much, but there still is so much more to do. Here in Kosovo, the list of needs can seem long, and I know it sometimes can feel like you're running in place. When the progress of your country depends on the cooperation of other bigger and more wealthy nations, it can sometimes seem overwhelming and painfully slow. But as a visitor, someone who comes here about once a year, I see progress in this country every time I come here and set foot on the ground. I see roads completed, buildings constructed, and a democracy taking hold. And democracies have warts and have pains. But people here understand there's no going back to the old ways. Kosovo is a democracy. Kosovo has a partnership with freedom-loving countries in the world, and that will always remain. Yet I never lose sight of the needs of this young country. Let me say first and foremost, Kosovo needs to be recognized by all nations of this earth and become a member of the United Nations. I press Kosovo's recognition with every diplomat who enters my office in Washington and every leader I meet abroad, and I will not rest until your recognition is complete and you have a full peace and relationship with all of your neighbors. In that vein, frankly, the people of Kosovo also deserve to be treated like all of the countries around you. And that means visa liberalization. It means being able to travel into the EU without a visa and having a clear pathway into NATO and the European Union. The EU knows Kosovo has met the conditions for visa liberalization, and I hope it will soon open its doors to you. I will continue to press them. Regardless, your people deserve a future of prosperity, the opportunity to have decent jobs, access to a good education, and clean air for your children and families to breathe. And that is why the United States must always stand with the people of Kosovo. And I'm proud that since 1999, we in the United States have provided approximately $2 billion to help your country take root and thrive. I believe that this is money well spent, but I'm happy to also say we have not ended our efforts. The Millennium Challenge Corporation will continue the American investment here by promoting a more advanced energy sector and greater transparency throughout the country. And the U.S. will work with Kosovo as it sets up its army and replaces its aging power plants. These are the things that show progress to an independent people, that will demonstrate that the path forward is not insurmountable, and that your quest for freedom and independence is indeed worth more than the paper the Declaration is printed on. So on this July 4th, let us recommit ourselves to the warm and long-lasting relationship between our two countries, and to the hope that we will forever stand shoulder to shoulder in the fight for peace, freedom, and independence. My friend Harry Baraktar, you know, first brought me to Kosovo, first told me about Kosovo, and we have been working with other people together ever since then to make sure Kosovo doesn't only thrive and doesn't only survive, but that it continues to remain a wonderful partner with the United States. Today, we celebrate Independence Day. for the United States. But here in a strong and a free and independent Kosovo, we also celebrate the independence of Kosovo and the relationship between Kosovars and Americans. Let that relationship always continue. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, President of the Republic of Kosovo, Hashim Thaci.
Nderuari Congressman Engel, nderuar ambasador Poznat, Kryetari i Kuvendit të Republikës së Kosovës, zoti Veseli, kryeministri Haradinaj, të nderuar të pranishëm. Është kënaqësi e veçantë që këtë 4 korrik ta festojmë duke hapur ambasadën e re amerikane në Kosovë. Kjo ndërtesë dhe misioni i saj tregon më së miri për kushtimin e Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës për paqë dhe zhvillim të Kosovës. Kjo shtëpi nga sot e tutje është fanar që gjithmonë do të tregon drejtimin e dur të shtetit tonë, drejtimin euroatlantik. Nga sot, Kosova është edhe më sigurt edhe më krenare. Të nderuar zonja dhe zotërinj, para pak ditësh shënuam 20 vjetorin e hyrjes së trupave të NATO-s dhe çlirimin e Kosovës. Ishim të nderuar që në kujtimet për sakrificën, për vuajtjet, por dhe për guximin dhe angazhimin për liri, na bashkangjitën edhe presidenti Clinton edhe sekretarja Albright. Duke ju falenderuar miqve si kongresmeni Engel, vuajtjet dhe tragjeditë të Kosovës janë rrëfyer javën e parë edhe në Capitol Hill. Prandaj nderuari kongresmen Engel, në emër të institucioneve të Republikës së Kosovës dhe popullit të Kosovës, ju falenderoj edhe një herë. Falenderoj. Pra nga rrënojat e luftës, kemi ndërtuar një shoqëri të re, një shtet të ri. Kosovën, që është shtëpi dhe ADL e të gjithë qytetarëve të saj, pa dallim përkatësie etnike. Një shtet në rrugë të sigurt për të bërë antar i NATO-s dhe Bashkimit Evropian. Prandaj, jemi të përkushtuar që të punojmë me një qeverisje më efektive në luftë pa kompromis kundër korrupsionit, krimit organizuar dhe terrorizmit, mundësinë e krijimit të vendeve të reja të punës, postergimit të qytetarëve nga Kosova, rritjen e konsensusit politik në Kosovar, ndërtimin e eficiencisë së mirë me gjitha vendet dhe përfundimisht tejkalimin e izolimit të Kosovës, pra të ndërtojmë një vend të shpresës dhe besimit e jo të dilemave e mosbesimit. Zonja dhe zotërinj, përkushtimi ynë për lirin, barazin, diversitetin, unitetin, janë vlerat të përhershme që bashkojnë dy vendet dhe popujt tanë. Këto janë vlera mbi të cilat janë ndërtuar Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës para 243 vitesh, mbi të cilat është ndërtuar Kosova i jonë e re. Prandaj, urime për këtë miqësi të përjetshme për marrëdhëniet tona speciale me Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës. Gëzuar Amerikë 4 korrikun, Zoti bekoft Kosovën, Zoti bekoft Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës. Faleminderit shumë. Thank you very much.
This concludes the formal portion of tonight's event, so please enjoy the party and the live music of String String and Gypsy Groove. Thank you.